All right, Texans bye week continues. Landry Larker, Cody Stutes, live with you as the bye week is upon us. And we are going to do a fun little exercise. We are going to do the SNL Texans bye week stock exchange. I'm going to throw 10 things Cody's way. He's going to say whether he buys or sells those 10 things as the Texans rest up, ice up before they take on the Seattle Seahawks Monday night, 9 o'clock, 2 Mondays from now. Also be on the lookout tomorrow, even though we'll be on the road, 4 o'clock. We did an in-depth position series progress report that will drop tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So just because we're on the road doesn't mean the content stops. Just because the Texans have a bye doesn't mean the content stops. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. And be sure to join us at Spanky's Sharpstown, Cody, on the 17th of this month and 31st. Already gotten a lot of feedback on the greatness that is Spanky's, and we hope you will join us there for our third gathering of the season, 3 days before the Texans take on the Seahawks.
Week from tomorrow, fantastic food, incredible drinks, and we're going to be hanging out 3 to whenever, and show goes live at 4, and we'll broadcast live and have it all set up for you so you can hear it and watch us live, and you'll still be able to watch on YouTube. It's going to be a blast. We have so much fun. We go out to Spanky's, and I'll probably be getting me a little half and half pizza next week.
There you go. Half and half barbecue, half regular. They will do that. They go above and beyond out there at Spanky's. Let's start the stock exchange. We are going to start with the most polarizing guy of the season, kind of an up and down season for him. Some would say it's because of the competition, but we're going to start with Nick Caley stock. Are you buying or selling Nick Caley stock with where it sits right now? Do you think better days are ahead, or you think we're going to go back into what we saw the first few weeks?
I want to buy right now. I know the price isn't super high, but I would like to buy right now for Nick Caley. And I mean, I had a significant investment in the Nick Caley stock situation before the season got going, obviously, but I like to buy the Nick Caley stock. I like that it feels like the organization went out there and pulled him out of that Patriots box. And I don't know exactly how all they did that, but we saw more in week 4 and week 5 than we saw in week 3. I want to buy some Nick Caley stock. I'm not spending a bunch of money on it, but I want to buy the Nick Caley stock.
Buy. All right, so you'll buy it. I'm gonna buy it too, because I don't think it can be worse than the first 3 weeks. Now, you don't have any choice but to buy, because you spent a hell of a lot of money in the offseason purchasing it. So I would hope that you're not selling all that just now. So I think you have no choice but to stay put. I do agree with you. The context clues of D'Amico changing the way he functions, Nick Caserio saying what he said, CJ Stroud saying what he said, and us seeing what we saw, even though it was against inferior opponents. I will buy the Nick Caley stock. And really, the result that the Texans are looking for, which is beating good teams, it doesn't mean it has to be an elite offense. It's got to get the overall offense has to get to where the offensive line is right now, middle of the road, and you'll be winning a hell of a lot of football games. So I'm going to buy the stock because I think it's realistic. I actually think it's a good time to buy Nick Caley stock.
Well, and if you're selling, you're not getting much for it right now. It's improved a little bit, but it's certainly not, you're not getting a good return if you're selling on your Nick Caley stock right now.
All right, now we go to the Christian Harris stock. This one might be a little bit tougher. Are you buying or selling Christian Harris stock? And when I say this, are you buying him actually contributing? The upside is gone, but are you buying Christian Harris as just somewhat of a contributor in the final 3 quarters of the season?
No, I'm not. I'm selling Christian Harris, Crypto Harris, as I deemed him, as I called him. I'm selling Christian Harris, and I can't imagine that he's going to get into the rotation and then hop EJ Speed or Henry To'oTo'o. We know he's never going to hop Azeez Al-Shire. I can't get in on it. I wonder if the athleticism has dropped after the injury. He was on the field a little bit, got that 15-yard penalty when he first finally got on the field earlier this season. It's not there for me.
I'm going to buy it as a small contributor. Now, it is not a penny stock. I stocked up on the penny stock in the offseason. It's half a penny. So I'll say there's some sort of a contribution from Christian Harris. I don't even think you could give this stuff away. And because I invested as much as I did in the offseason, I'll go ahead and stay put with Christian Harris contributing, like somewhat of a contributor. I'll stay put.
Okay.
Don't feel great about it though, but can't sell now. Next one, the running back situation. Woody Marks as RB1. We've seen Woody Marks have one really, really good game. We've seen him show flashes throughout the season. Woody Marks as RB1. Are you buying or selling Woody Marks stock?
I'm buying this, and I don't know that I could buy enough. RB1 for the Texans. Like, I don't know if he's not going to be like one of the 15 best backs in football, but could he be the back that you trust the most on the Houston Texans? Could he be the back that's the most consistently productive on the Houston Texans? Absolutely. He can. He can certainly do that. We've seen some of the impressive stuff from him. He's already one of the best rookie pass catchers in football right now. Pass catchers, not rookie running backs in receiving, pass catchers. I really like the potential of this, and we're going to get more Woody Marks. I know we didn't get as much as most of us wanted or expected in the Ravens game, but we're going to get more Woody Marks, and it's going to be really nice.
Yeah. I like the way you put that out there. I think he could be the RB1 for the Texans, even though I don't even know that the use will be as high, but I don't necessarily think that he's going to be like some sort of like you said, top 15 most productive running back. I don't believe that either.
No, I know he's not going to do it that way. Like, that's not going to happen for him. But easily has the potential to be the most productive running back on the Houston Texans. And he could do that while simultaneously being at the same snap count or even slightly lower than what Nick Chubb does. Like, you could use Chubb more and get more production out of Woody Marks still. I fully believe that.
All right, next one, as we do the SNL Texans stock change, we'll go to the quarterback. We didn't start with the quarterback. We'll go to the quarterback now. CJ Stroud as a top 10 statistical quarterback. CJ Stroud as a top 10 statistical quarterback. You buying or selling that?
Okay, so I ran the numbers on this earlier. If he stays at his current pace, he's on track for about 3,700 receiving yards, 27 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. That's right on the edge of top 10. So I'm going to buy top 10 statistical quarterback CJ Stroud because I feel like there's a lot more than just the 5-game sample size. Obviously, the first 3 games weren't good enough. But I feel like there's a lot more to CJ Stroud than what we've seen. And I mean, I don't think he's going to be the last 5 quarters of football CJ Stroud right out of the bye week, but there's a lot more of that than the first 3 games. So I'm buying top 10 statistical QB CJ Stroud.
All right. I am selling this, but I don't necessarily think he has to be top 10 statistically. I think the defense is going to keep him in games. I think he's going to be judged by the clutch factor and whether or not he flips the switch when given the opportunity. So that's where I would put CJ Stroud. I'm not buying this, but I am buying that he could play at an elite level without producing statistically at a top 10 level. I don't think they're built that way.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. The defense plays really well. If you get a good enough lead, you're not throwing the football as much. Like, there's a lot of guys that are, I mean, Burrow last year is the perfect example. They threw all the time because they had to. So the Texans aren't going to do that. They're going to have a defense where there's going to be games where they're ahead by 17, 14 points, and they're turning around and handing it to the running back. So that's going to hurt his chances of getting there. But I like the production maybe in those first 3 quarters enough to go and get him where he needs to go.
All right, one of the more polarizing guys as we continue the Texans stock exchange during the bye week, Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz was good in 2023. He was god-awful in 2024. Right now, he's been closer to 2023 than 2024. But for some reason, people still hate him. Dalton Schultz, buy or sell Dalton Schultz stock?
I'm buying. I really like what he's put together so far this season. I believe he's going to continue doing it. It's a contract year essentially for him. So it's a guy that always has better production in contract years. And I'm buying this. So the blocking has even been better for Dalton Schultz. So you saw it in that Ravens game. He started out on the end and he got to the next level and got to the linebacker on one of those plays. And it hasn't been a big net negative for Dalton Schultz in the blocking. And he's been a useful, productive wide or a pass catcher, excuse me. It hadn't been some of that empty stuff that you saw last year from him.
I'm buying. I think the coaching at tight end has been better. I think they haven't been asking him to do the stuff that he was asked to do last year that frustrated a lot of people. And I also think the contract year factors in. Dalton Schultz, you look at his contract years, it is absolutely insane. You look at when he's had a little bit more comfort, not so good. So we saw it last year. I think money can motivate someone, especially when they're on the back end of their career. So I will buy Dalton Schultz. Do I anticipate him being like a Pro Bowl caliber guy? But if we're talking closer to 2023 than what we saw last year, I'll buy that all day. Let's go to the super chats here on the SNL bi-week stock exchange.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Rich Boy Jay, we were afraid that Ed Ingram was Kenyon Purple, but he's looking more like Dwayne Liberty Blue.
Wow.
No. Oh, I mean, hold on now.
Oh,
Hold on now, Rich Boy. I don't know about all that.
it says Deep Steel Blue as well. Next one, the superpower of this team, the defense. Are you buying the Texans being the number one defense in the NFL throughout the course of the entire season? Right now, they're right there after a few games. Are you buying this being the case at the end of the season as the schedule kind of gets a little bit more difficult?
I am. It's look, the schedule's gonna get tough for all these other teams that are playing too. Like they're gonna have to play tough teams that are in the conversation defensively for them. I mean, they have a pretty significant lead over who's number 2 right now, and they have some just absolute slappies on their schedule. They're going to help pump the numbers a little bit. Now, are they always going to be playing like the exact top defense in football? No, but I feel like you're going to get it far more often than you're not. I really like the chances for them to do this, and I'm buying this. I'm buying heavy into this.
All right. I would buy him as a top 3, top 5. But number 1, I'm not going to buy that. I don't feel 100% confident. I'm just kind of going with the odds here. Number 1 defense, still, you can still be elite without being number 1. So
that final month of the season is going to be so nice for the defensive statistics. You're going to have the Cardinals and Raiders at home. You're going to go to LA against the Chargers. And then who knows exactly what that Colts game is going to mean in that final week of the season, but you get the Colts potentially as well.
Yeah, you could have a situation where, much like the Texans laid down in 2019 for the Titans, you have the Colts laying down for their rival at the end of the season. That could easily happen depending on what the state of the division is. So I'm with you on that. Speaking of the Colts, let's go to the Colts here on the SNL Texans bye-week exchange. Are you buying the Colts as the AFC South favorite? Are you buying that stock? Now, some would say, well, no kidding, they're in first. Yeah, but they're tied with the Jags. So the Jags might have something to say about it. Are you buying the Colts as the AFC South favorite? Are you drinking the Texans Kool-Aid despite being down? Are you going with the Jags? Buy or sell Colts?
I'm selling this. I don't like this Colts team that much. And Daniel Jones, this is not staying the constant for most of the year. He's going to turn back into a pumpkin at some point. I do believe Jonathan Taylor can keep this up. He's awesome. Their wide receiver situation is not amazing. It's okay. I like Tyler Warren a lot. That's a big positive for them, and that's a huge help. And I just don't believe in their defense constantly being enough for their team. So I'm selling the Colts as the AFC South favorites. I'd put the Jags there right now.
Yeah, I would put the Colts. I'm selling the Jags, but I still think the division is wide open. I mean, it could be. You could make a case that there's value on any of these teams if you want to bet. But I do think the Colts are a playoff team for sure. The Texans are going to have to play much better. But you see, a lot of times you see 3 teams from a division get into the playoffs. It happens more often than maybe people know. So maybe this is one of those years, but I'm still going to buy Indianapolis because I like Shane Steichen and I like their run game, and I think their defense is underrated.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've got some nice pieces that if they continue to grow and mesh on defense, it'll be a better defense than you expect it to be. There's a lot of ifs that need to turn for the Colts. If Daniel Jones stays there, if Jonathan Taylor stays healthy, if their O-line stays healthy, it's a lot of injury concerns on that O-line. If their defenders take the next step, too many ifs for me.
Next one. Are you buying Matt Burke calling the defense? Now he's calling, you see him right there in the mountains, the most interesting man. Shout out to the Chronicle for that piece. But are you buying Matt Burke calling the defense? D'Amico's let him do it the last 2 weeks. Well, they played the Titans and they played the Ghosts of the Ravens. As the schedule intensifies, do old habits die hard? And does D'Amico start calling the defense? And does Matt Burke continue to do a good job calling the defense? You buying or selling Burke calling the defense stock?
I'm selling this. I don't believe it's going to stick around. At some point, D'Amico Ryans is going to take back the communication, and he'll be the voice that Azeez Al-Shire hears in the headset, get the defensive play calls. I don't believe by any means that the Matt Burke defensive coordinator calling the plays experiment is a permanent situation for the Texans. I believe it's exactly just that, an experiment, a short-term necessity for this team, and then D'Amico Ryans will take it back at some point.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason it's been minimized is that it's not necessarily going to be permanent, and it's presented as the same thing. I could see like every once in a while going back and forth. I really don't have a problem with it. And I don't have a problem with it, as I mean, the defense is in good hands. That's the reality of the situation. Sometimes you see a coach fire his offensive coordinator, then this guy calls plays, and the coach takes over and he starts calling the plays and all this. But that we've seen that, and that's usually when the offense sucks. This defense is in good hands. Whatever decision they decide to make, I think they're going to make the right one. I think they got the talent. I think they make all the decisions. But I'm with you. Push comes to shove, Texans versus Colts with a playoff spot on the line. Why would D'Amico Ryans not want to put that headset on? So I'm buying that. I also think this is kind of connected to one of our early questions, Cody, that I think if Nick Caley gets more comfortable, and maybe this kind of makes him more comfortable, D'Amico might feel a little bit more comfortable in Nick Caley just having control of the offense.
Yeah, and that's the hope, is that D'Amico Ryans is extra attention on the offense is not a permanent necessity, and it's something that you just needed a little check-in. Okay, everything's going good. All right, let's go back to doing what I do and do what I do at a really high level.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, next one. Let's go to the offensive line. You knew this was coming. Are you buying or selling the Texans as a top half offensive line?
No.
So we talked about CJ Stroud as a top 10 quarterback. Are you buying the Texans offensive line as a top half OL in football?
I can't sell this fast enough. I mean, I can't. Top half? No. Would I buy with the understanding that there's a little bit of room for growth and then I can get out at some point before it dips again? Sure. But top half of the offensive lines in football? No way. No way. And I Ed Ingram, I don't think that's going to stay. At some point, Titus is going to have some hiccups. It's still a roller coaster for Ariante Ursary, and there's still some things not to love about Juice Scruggs and Jake Andrews at guard and center. So I like what they've put together so far. I like the improvement that they've put together. There's still room for improvement, and I still feel like there's a chance they could inch a little bit higher, but top half, that's a little rich for my blood.
Speaking of rich, TDECU, they help make you rich. They help you stay rich. And right now you can get the Texans debit card with that fresh new logo, and you'll get 15% off at the team shop. All you got to do is go to tdecu.org/Texans and you can get hooked up.
Yeah, they are fantastic over there at TDECU, your credit union. Okay, membership's required. They're insured by the NCUA. When you get and you become a member of TDECU, they are working for you, and they're working on taking care of your money. It's not like all the other places where it is just some stale, boring relationship. No. All the fantastic perks of TDECU are available to you when you get signed up with TDECU. You can find out everything at tdecu.org. You find out more about that 15% off at the team shop, jerseys, hats, T-shirts. Maybe you want to buy a gift for somebody in the near future, get 15% off the gift. They'll never know when you use your TDECU Texans debit card. Get signed up, tdecu.org/Texans. Or you can walk into one of those 15 greater Houston area locations and get signed up at TDECU.
Membership required, insured by NCUA. I'm not buying the Texans offensive line. I think right now the feel of the offensive line is really, really high. I don't think they have to be that great. I think that's why there's a little bit of pressure on CJ Stroud to control what he can control, but I'm definitely not buying the offensive line stock. I just can't. And also there's no depth. So that's the other concern I have, is that they've traded away the depth, and unless they just completely stay healthy the way they have, I feel like some of the decisions that they've made that may not seem like big decisions, which I brought up to Caserio, I feel like they could backfire and really prevent this team from doing what they do. Maybe I'm a little bit too concerned about that, but that's one of my concerns, is they're very, very thin when it comes to depth.
Yeah, they are one snap away from not only us seeing a player we don't want to see on the field, but really them seeing a player that they don't want to see on the field.
Zach Rose says TDECU also helps set up a college fund for your kids. He's a big TDECU guy. So shout out to him. Be like Zach.
Yeah. Look, just go in there and talk to him and find out all the great things, and then tell him you want that beautiful, pretty, awesome TDECU Texans debit card, and they'll take care of you over there at TDECU.
All right. Last one. This is going to be a wide receiver one, and you're going to have to pick a stock, and it's going to be a very, very interesting one here. Buying or selling? Who are you buying as the wide receiver two? Not pictured there is Jaden Higgins, but you have Christian Kirk, you have Xavier Hutchinson, you have Jalen Knoll. You can throw Higgins in there if you want. Who is the Texans' number 2 wide receiver? We know Nico Collins is number 1. Who is their number 2 receiver?
Who's the most expensive behind Nico Collins? I mean, like amongst the potential number 2s, who's the most expensive stock?
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
So yeah, I'm buying Jaden Higgins stock. I mean, this is a guy that spent the 34th overall draft pick, and we saw him score that touchdown out of the slot. We saw him with some important catches in the Ravens game. I know he didn't score a touchdown in the Ravens game. We saw him with some important catches. Looks like he's kind of getting his sea legs underneath him. Looks like Nick Caley's figured out how to use him a little bit more, and that was one of my favorite wide receivers in the offseason and in the draft process. And so I'm buying Jaden Higgins stock here.
Wow. Oh,
okay.
Wow. All right. So you're going Higgins. I'm gonna go Christian Kirk. I think maybe Christian Kirk, the bigger that the games get, I'm gonna go with Christian Kirk, because I think that Christian Kirk, I think there's a reason that they were overly aggressive that first play of the fourth quarter. I think they know that they need to get Christian Kirk involved. And I think now that CJ Stroud has seen the ball leave his hand and land in the arms, the breadbasket of Christian Kirk, I think now the stuff we saw in camp, it starts to play out, and maybe that return on investment looks better. So I'm going with Christian Kirk as wide receiver 2. You're throwing up the X there. Why didn't you just pick Xavier Hutchinson then?
I was wondering, I thought you were going to pick Xavier Hutchinson. That's what I thought you were going to do.
Did not. Christian Kirk. I went with Christian Kirk. You went with Higgins. By the way, I also think Knoll's going to get freed. I think Knoll will be a bigger part of this offense after the bye week. And it's no coincidence that during that blowout, they try to get Kirk involved and they try to get Knoll involved. I think that's something that they want to do moving forward. But I'm following the money. I'm following the vet. I'm following what we saw in camp, and I'm going with Christian Kirk.
All right. I mean, it's. I don't think there's really a wrong answer, because I would think the differentiator between most of these wide receivers is pretty minimal. I would say that Kirk is probably the most likely, but I'm buying in on the low Jaden Higgins stock right now.
Yeah, buy on it. It's a good time to buy. Let's go to the super chat. Our guy HDAV Traveler.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm
Says, afternoon, Landry, Cody, and friends. It's almost Friday. Yes, it is. I will be hopping on a plane shortly to Las Vegas. Cody will be going to the State Fair of Texas, and it's going to be a fun time, but there will be a video dropping at 4. I also got a video on the locker room dropping at 3 on Saturday. So we're going to give you plenty of Texans content during the bye week, and then it's going to be full effect next week. By the way, Reaction Monday, normally at 9. It's going to be normal time 4 on Monday, and the Texans will not be practicing. So we'll start looking. We'll probably go on to Seattle on Monday. We're going to treat this like a big-ass game because it is a big-ass game. So it is going to have our full attention on Monday. We're going all in on Seattle. Cody's going to have the matchups for you, and we're going to break it all down because I think that could completely flip the Texans season. That was the Texans Stock Exchange. Let us know what we got wrong, and we will adjust accordingly. Also, let's talk about Texans Turf. Shout out to Texans Turf, Dan the man. My backyard looks great. Got the in-laws here. Got the aunt, the sister-in-law here. They went in the backyard. They said, "Dang, this is some nice turf. When did y'all get this?" I said, 3 years ago. They said, "What? 3 years? It looks that fresh?" I said, "You're damn right. You know why? Because Dan's the man." And I shopped around, and I know what a lot of people around town know, from the biggest neighborhoods to the smallest neighborhoods, that whether you want a putting green or a play area, Dan is the man to take care of it, and Texans Turf is the place to go. Don't hesitate. A lot of people get really discouraged when they first deal with some of these slime ball turf companies. That's not Dan. Dan gives you the best deal. He doesn't try to rip you off. He puts a lot into it with the drainage and everything else, and I promise you, you will not regret it. So go to TexansTurf.com. Let Dan do for you what he's done for so many, including myself.
You look at the fantastic portfolio on TexansTurf.com, and you see all the awesome work that they do. And I don't know how you couldn't want some of that for your backyard or your front yard or whatever you might need. I mean, imagine working on your short game, just walking into the backyard on your very own putting green while the kids are over on their very own play area, and all in between, you got that beautiful, always green, always clean Texans Turf. You can't beat it.
Yep. No lie. No lie. We appreciate everyone for rolling through. Chase has an over-under. If y'all have any stocks, let us know. We like to interact here. Chase has a over-under with someone that we just got we got a look at him last week. Kind of anticipated it, but now it's alive and well. The British Bulldog.
British Brooks over under 1.5 touchdowns rest of the season. I'd be surprised if he gets more than one. I could see one, but I'd be surprised if he gets more than one.
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say
really?
2 touchdowns. I think
walk me through the scenario where he scores multiple times.
I think that there's a couple of things. Number one, I think he's really, really good at running out of the fullback position. Some people were criticizing him yesterday on the stream because they said he almost fumbled or whatever. I was like, what? 2 carries, 15 yards? They said he didn't look smooth. Two carries, 15 yards, both moving the chains, I'll take. But I think there's fear that they have for whatever reason at times of the QB sneak. So I think if they get to the 1 yard line, I think there's fear. I also think when you run long developing plays with this offensive line, despite the fact they've surpassed expectations, I think you're asking the offensive line to do a lot. So I think that the alternative would be handing the ball to British Brooks, who's kind of shown that he can do that. So I think this play might be a little bit more open than we anticipate. So that's why I'm going to say over 1.5. The other thing is, I really wonder if, like, let's say that Nick Chubb or Woody Marks need some rest. I do wonder if, with what you've seen from Agumbawale and what you've seen from Dameon Pierce, if they don't decide to maybe give him looks at running back, as crazy as that sounds, I could see him like emerging as like somewhat of a short yardage guy. So I'm going to take the over. But I mean, I better get some good odds on that. This is not even money. I better get at least 5-1 odds on this.
I gotta imagine for like an anytime touchdown scorer, he's checking in at probably like 20-1 in most games. So if you just put $1 every game on British Brooks to score 1 touchdown, you should be positive if he scores once over the course of the season.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to go 20-1 or not, but that's kind of there. So someone asks over under. Cebu says Hunter over under 12 sacks. Will Anderson Jr. over under 11.
I'll take the over on both of them.
Yeah, because it's 4-3 right now, right? Hunter's 4, Will's 3.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So that pace is about for Hunter is near 15, and for Will is right around there. So yeah, I'll take the over. I think they get home a little bit more. So I'll take the over on that.
Hunter's pace is about 14, and then Will's pace is about 10, but I'm taking the over.
Outlaw asks, are you buying Ed Ingram stock? Absolutely not. With that Pro Football Focus rating, I am not buying that. That is very expensive. I like what you're doing. I might buy him as like a starter even next year, but right now that stock's as high as it could possibly get. I'm not buying that. That's not good value.
Yeah, you're not getting
before the season. You're probably rich right now.
Yeah, this. If you had bought Ed Ingram stock before the season, it was like buying Apple in like the late 70s or whatever, like when it first became a stock you could buy. And then now you got to cash out before anything happens.
Yes. That's 100% where that is for sure. That is not a good buy right now at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So Chase filled us in here. He was plus 3,500 anytime touchdown last week.
Yeah. And it never got close. It was always like there, but 35 is worth a sprink.
I mean, if you, again, $1 or $2 every game on anytime touchdown for British Brooks and
$5.
Yeah.
$5 to get eaten, what, 175, whatever? Yeah.
Now, if you really want to be a degenerate, you could do what's called the martingale system, which is you go $1. If he doesn't score, then you go $2. And if he doesn't score, then you go $3. Then he doesn't score.
Because eventually it's going to happen.
And then when it hits, it's like, boom.
All right. There you go. $5 sprinkle. There you go. All right. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. Happy bye week to all. Tomorrow, 4:00, the position progress report. Some of our grades may surprise you. We were not on the same page. Spoiler alert. So be sure to check out that video. Be sure to enjoy your bye week. I'll be in Vegas. Cody will be at the State Fair and eating rum and Coke slushies. So who knows if Cody's going to make it next week? I'll be here. I promise. Might be moving a little slow though, but you never know. Sometimes I surprise myself.
Are you coming back Monday or Sunday?
Sunday night, late one.
Okay.
Either, yeah, late one.
So at least it's your own bed Sunday night. Yeah. So
no doubt.
You get some rest ahead of Monday.
I'm a fan of the late one. So appreciate everyone for rolling through. See y'all at Spanky's on the 17th and 31st. We'll see you tomorrow at 4:00 per usual. It will not be the live. It will be the premiere. So be sure to check it out that way. And then Monday, business as usual. Although the Texans won't be off, they're going to start their practice week on Tuesday since they play the following Monday. Subscribe, like, ride along. Let us know what we got wrong when it comes to this Texan stuff. We're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.